Chloe Kaczynski, and you are watching our final edition of The Edge. This is a special edition where we will be looking back through previous editions of The Edge. As you may know, The Edge is a newscast produced by our Classroom Digital Media Arts. Some may think that a classroom newscast can only go so far, but not for The Edge. Editions of this newscast have been played around classrooms in Ed Tech and are posted on its own YouTube channel. Raina DeBoll gives us details on why students choose to watch The Edge.
As a crew of The Edge, we work hard in order to bring students the latest news of what's going on in different EdTech classrooms and getting solid student opinions. So now it is our turn to get some feedback on our own news show. Here's what students had to say on their favorite anchors and news stories.
My favorite Edge reporter would have to be Olivia Eden. She's very enthusiastic about everything. She's pretty. She just looks like she's meant to do this.
We might see Kyle Cantwell up behind the anchor board.
That's pretty good.
It'd be interesting to say the least.
I was going to say Hunter Samini. Definitely not Olivia Eden's. Definitely not.
I think that Robin Kish is a great host for The Edge. So she's also very enthusiastic about everything. She always knows what to say. She makes it interesting.
I think Kyle would make a better host just because he's so outgoing.
Getting my freak on!
Would make a great host for The Edge. Bowie Jones.
Ron Burgundy. Ron Burgundy would make a lot better host.
Why?
Stay classy, San Diego.
Who would make a better host? I'm pretty sure Hunter Samini would make a better host because he's hilarious.
I have been featured on The Edge. In fact, I've worked with The Edge.
I have been featured on The Edge. There's a couple times I've been featured on The Edge. One of them was around Christmas time when we were doing Toys for Tots in our classroom. And now I'll be featured on The Edge too.
Yes, Robin Kish featured me in the summer vacation one.
During the Senior Ice episode.
Yes.
One word. Minecraft.
Yeah, I used to be an anchor, but I wasn't getting paid enough. So I went to mic and audio, and I'm happy at that.
My favorite thing about The Edge is how you guys go around like the whole of Ed Tech and like say a few things about all of the classes, get news on what everyone else is doing.
My favorite thing about The Edge is when the anchors have a personality to them. It's very boring when you have a very monotone anchor.
Well, I do like to know what's going on with the school.
Okay.
My favorite story on The Edge would be the Harlem Shake.
I also like the Harlem Shake.
The Harlem Shake.
Harlem Shake.
Also the Harlem Shake.
They do the Harlem Shake.
I'd say like pretty much all of them.
Okay.
This is Raina DeBoll reporting for The Edge.
Seems like our newscast is popular around the Ed Tech building. It might look easy on TV, but the pre-production of The Edge is a lot more work than it seems to be. Our own Sarah Fagan and Hunter Samini tell us the secrets of putting together a newscast.
There are many different steps when it comes to the Edge production, including team meetings, getting footage, and recording on camera. The first step to making an Edge is having a meeting with the crew about what packages and things should go into the Edge and who is doing what. Then everyone gets assigned a position from being director and producer, field reporter, and anchor. The director makes sure that everyone has something to work on. Then on that day we record, they give all the cues to make it happen. We ask the directors their thoughts about this position.
Being director is pretty crazy sometimes and intense, and it's fun. It's rewarding once you actually finish recording and everything is good. It's a good position. If you think that you can take control of the situation and do it, then it's definitely a good position to be in.
The producer gets everyone doing what needs to be done and also gets their packages and footage from them and puts it on the TriCaster. They organize it and put it in the right order to have it set for recording. We ask the producers how stressful it is to keep everyone in line and getting what they need.
I think being producer was one of the more difficult jobs only because
In the beginning, there wasn't much work to be done, but keeping track of everybody else's work and trying to make sure everybody is done on time and getting everything together was extremely stressful.
Back out, we need that cart again.
I wouldn't say it was too stressful to be producer. I mean, as long as people were really easy to work with, I didn't really have much of a problem getting everything onto Rundown Creator and getting all the stories in and making sure everything where it was supposed to be.
The field reporters have a very important job because they get you all the information and interviews you see throughout the Edge. They go out and ask many people and sometimes get turned down, but they get you the information you need. They edit the footage and put everything together before you even get to see it. We asked the field reporters how difficult it is to get the interviews and footage they need.
Doing packages for the Edge was stressful at times, but other times it was just really fun and I had a good time working with everybody in the class.
The anchors, the faces you see on every edition of The Edge. Anchors spend a great amount of time rehearsing and practicing their scripts. They also have to keep a steady pace while reading the teleprompters. We asked the anchors how stressful it is being in the spotlight.
It was very stressful being on the spotlight of the anchor because, at home I'd rip out my hair would start falling out, I'd twirl my hair and it'd fall out, and I had to have a blanket, I'd suck my thumb at night, and it was just awful.
The pre-production is a very long and hard process, but when it comes down to the next step of the day of recording in the studio, it takes time and patience to get that perfect one with everything right. We have to set up the studio by turning the cameras and lights on, miking the talent, and getting everyone into position before we start. Behind the scenes of making The Edge is probably more difficult than you thought it was, but in all we give you in the news, you need to keep up on what's going on around EdTech.
Things can get pretty chaotic behind the scenes of The Edge. In the end, all the responsibilities of each separate role come together to produce our newscast. During The Edge, students have to go out and see what classes are up to. As students make their rounds, sales and entrepreneurship is usually always up to something and willing to be on camera. Ironically, we took the time to interview the class and see why they're always willing to be on the news.
I think sales and marketing is almost always on the Edge because we're right next door. It's a short walk, it's really easy.
I find the Edge completely funny, so it's pretty cool.
I love the Edge very, 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 very much.
Sales and marketing is almost always on the Edge because 1, we're helpful, and 2, we're right next door.
Sales and marketing and DMA are definitely BFFs.
I consider our classes to be BFFs, not only because I'm friends with a couple of the people in it, as well as we're helpful and we're always kind to each other.
We know we always have appreciated the help we have received from the marketing and entrepreneurship class. Now we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with memorable moments.
The Edge 2014, out with the old and in with the news.
Spending the last 2 years together, working side by side, I'd say we've all gotten pretty close. So I went and asked a couple of DMA friends their favorite memories.
My most memorable moments would be when I got second place at MIPA for my feature story as my diesel tech package. That was my most memorable moment.
Meeting new friends. I did really fun things. My favorite and most memorable moment was probably getting the Masons Attica Scholarship from DMA, but it also is a toss-up between my Chicago trip that we just went on with DMA. I've met some great people here in DMA, and I will never forget it.
My most memorable digital media arts memory was making How Eugene Got His Unibrow with Kyle Cantwell and all my buds.
My most memorable moment was probably my bromance brother Kyle Cantwell.
The crew all had mistakes, but being on camera makes those mistakes permanent. Most of the mistakes will have you on the floor laughing. Caleb Nettles compiled a bunch of great videos for you today. As hard as the anchors tried to get it right, it didn't always work out the first few times. The first video is all of the best anchor mess-ups. Let's take a look.
That's all. I'm Hunter Samini. Back to you, Olivia.
Exotic animals.
Thanks, Robin.
Big changes came to one EdTech classroom this year.
The students had the opportunity to take their skills from the classroom into a real-life studio situation. This week, we took a look at diesel. Oh. I'm sorry.
Let's take a leak.
This week, we took a leak.
He said let's take a leak instead of a look.
Well, mess-ups in the studio weren't always on the anchors. Sometimes there were a few technical difficulties in the control room, and even with our own teleprompters. Check out this next video. You shall enjoy it.
The teleprompter messed up.
Thanks, Olivia. Big changes came to one EdTech classroom this year. The Edge's
My last moments, I should.
What? Thanks for watching the second edition of The Edge. I'm Caleb Nettles. Make sure you join us for the next edition. What? Hello there, I'm Caleb Nettles, and you're watching the fourth edition of The Edge. What?
And the laughs weren't all on the anchors. Sometimes the people interviewed were quite comical. Here's a couple of the best goofball interviews from this year.
I love pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie's nasty.
My last moments, I shall spend them on probably sitting on my couch, watching the flames of death come towards me, drink a pop.
Finally, in between takes, there were some good moments of the anchors just having fun and being goofy on set.
What do you get when you mix together high winds, cold fronts, Hurricane Sandy, and several other horribly unimaginable weather conditions? The Frankenstorm.
Bringing you the latest EdTech news.
I'm Caleb Nettles. You stay classy, Lapeer EdTech.
Well, those were all great and funny videos. I'm glad to see that the class came such a long way since the first Edge. Overall, this was a successful year where students gained experiences. That's it for our final edition. Stay tuned for next year's Edge where my class will take over the reins and hopefully we can live up to this year's success. I'm Chloe Kaczynski.
And we're the Digital Media Arts class. You stay classy, Lapeer EdTech.